Well, hello, everybody, and welcome to the latest edition of the Book and Banter Society. Today's date is May 23rd, 2026, and I have a question for you. Now, what if you were in a plane crash, you survived, and you woke up in the attic of an old house? Now, you should be happy you're alive and safe, right? Well, that all depends on who owns the house. And I am talking about the 2020 movie Spell, rated R, with a running time of 1 hour and 31 minutes. Before we get started, as always, I want to say thank you. Thank you for your time. It is greatly, greatly appreciated. And also, too, don't forget to like and subscribe. And of course, hit that notification bell. And in case you didn't know it, I am a writer and I do have a book, and it is called The Creeping Things and Other Tales of Madness and Mayhem. And you can find my book on Lulu, Amazon, and all over the place. I'm worldwide. Just joking. And also, too, look me up on Instagram under the Book and Banter Society. Disclaimer: the views and opinions expressed on the Book and Banter Society are my opinions and my opinions alone. I am not a professional movie critic. I am just a person that loves movies and I like to share them with you. And also, too, there may be things in these movies or things that I may say that may trigger you. There's talk of violence, gore, I mean, you name it. So I'm just letting you know you have been warned. And spoiler alert, I will not give away the ending of any of the movies, but I do talk about them a lot. So, okay, disclaimer out the way, spoiler alert out the way. All right, let's keep going. Let me introduce you to the main character of our story. His name is Marquise. Now, Marquise is a very successful lawyer. He's at work right now, wheeling and dealing, doing his thing. Next thing you know, the phone rings, and unfortunately, it looks like his father has passed away. Now, Marquise, well, he's not too broken up about it. Not because he has no emotion, but because he didn't know much about his father. His father passed away when he was just a kid. And right now he's at the dinner table with his wife, his son, and daughter, discussing the situation. His wife feels they should go to the funeral to pay their respects. The kids, they're a little hesitant because it's in the Appalachian Mountains. So they're like, oh, do they even have cell phones up there? Or do they even have running water? They're making all those kind of jokes. The mom is not too happy with those jokes. And she's like, you know what? We're paying our respects. We're going. So guess what? They're going. Oh, and look, you thought they were going to ride on a plane first class? No. Economy class? No. Marquise is a pilot, so they have their own small little plane. Wow, talk about going in style. And unfortunately, they run into a thunderstorm. So the next thing you know, Marquise, he wakes up in a bed in an attic and he's trying to figure out how he got here. And his body is busted up, his mind just, he's a mess. And when I say a mess, I'm not exaggerating. Look at his foot. It's swollen and battered, and he tries to get out of bed to walk on it. He falls, then he crawls to the window just to look out, just to see where he is. And it looks like he's in some kind of small town. And here is Eloise. And Marquise wants to know, "Hey, where am I?" And she's like, you're in the attic of my house. I use this attic for sewing." And it's not like she's like, "Oh, how are you? Are you okay?" She's just like, "Get back in the bed right now." And he's like, "Whoa, wait, I just want to know, where am I? What's going on? Where's my effing family? Where's my GD family?" And she's like, "What?" She goes, "Oh, no, no, no. No one in this house takes the Lord's name in vain. No. Earl, Earl." And it's like, "Oh my God, who's Earl and what is going on?" Well, here's Earl. Earl is her husband. So he comes up the stairs on his cane, and he's wanting to know, like, what the heck is going on. And then Eloise is like, "He's creating a ruckus and da da da." And Marquise is like, "Hey, I just want to know where my family is." And then the next thing you know, Earl and Eloise, they start joking about Marquise a little bit. They're like, "Yeah, he's a big one, huh?" And they were like, "Yes, he is." And they start laughing and stuff. Wow, and look at Marquise's face. He already knows this is not good at all. So anyway, Earl is like, "Oh yeah, this is a big one. I can't handle him. We're gonna have to get somebody else." And it's like, "Somebody else? Who's that?" So then the next thing you know, he takes his cane and he bangs it on the floor, and this big guy named Lewis shows up, and he picks up Marquise and slams him down on the bed. So Marquise is pleading with all three of them. "Look, I don't want any trouble. I just want to know what is going on, what happened." And then all of a sudden, Earl just says straight up, "You were in a plane crash and it was all mangled up, and you were the only one." It's like, okay, that's a nice way of putting things. And then that's when Earl is like, "So get back in the bed." And it's like, "Oh my God, this is crazy." And then Eloise is like, I have something that'll calm him down. Eloise reaches into the front of her apron, takes out these two little vials, and then she blows some kind of dust in Marquise's face, and he immediately, it's like he goes into a trance and he is knocked out. So while Marquise is knocked out, Eloise, well, she is busy. She is busy sewing. She's gathering up some items and she's in the kitchen. And yeah, that picture down below, that kind of looks like blood, but we'll skip that. And she also put something in the oven. So she is really busy. Busy doing what? Well, we kind of don't know exactly, at least not yet. So after some long hours, Marquise finally wakes up and he tries to talk some sense into Eloise. He's like, "You know what? All I really need is an ambulance." And she's like, "Well, there's no hospital around here. The nearest one is like 50 miles away." And he's like, "Well, I have money. I have all the money you could ever want. So I can pay for an ambulance and a search team so they can look for my family. So if you could just help me walk down these stairs and I could use your phone." And Eloise is like, "Well, if you live as if you get to be as old as I am, you're going to learn money can't buy you everything, especially a phone. And the phone is nothing but a tool of the great divider. No, no, no." And he's just like, "Seriously?" And then all of a sudden she says, "I have something that's going to make you get better." So Marquise is like, "Oh, okay." So, he kind of has somewhat of an optimistic look on his face. until he sees what she has in store for him. And why am I laughing? Well, you'll see. You guys, look at this. Uh, and Marquise is like, what the hell is that? And then Eloise is like, oh, this is something I made. It's a Booker T. And he's like, what is a Booker T? And she goes, you never heard of that? He's like, no. And she goes, oh, that is something that can stand in place for another person. And this one stands for you. It's like, oh my God. Then Eloise says, the more it resembles you, with hair, nail clippings, blood, oh, and a pinch of semen. It's like, oh my God. Then she says, the more it resembles you, good things will happen to you. And it's like, oh no. And look at Marquise. He's looking at it because she made it with his driver's license. Look, parts of his broken watch. And he is just in shock. This scene was crazy. Then Eloise stands up. She's so proud of herself. She goes, you are looking at a straight up, bona fide, backwoods root worker. I can put you up and I can put you down and I could spin you all around. It's like, okay, this gets stranger and stranger as it goes. And also during that meeting, this poor old man, look, he has no eyes. But no problem. You know why? Because Eloise and her husband Earl just so happen to have an extra pair of eyes. Literally. Yikes! And yeah, the reason why they look kind of creepy is because they belong to a goat. Yes, they took the eyes of a goat and shoved them in the old man's eye sockets. But now he can see. And Eloise says, so what do you see? And then he points to a hole in the roof where Marcus is looking down at them. And he goes, I see him. And it's like, oh gosh. So now Marcus is in a race against time. So anyway, we have that going on. Marquise, trying to make his escape. And at the whole time, you see that creepy doll in the attic just staring off into space. And look, we see Marquise. He finds three mounds of dirt and he's freaked out because he thinks, is this my wife and my two children? So he's clawing at the dirt and it's like, oh my God, what is he going to find? And then in the meantime, look, more of those lovely dolls. And look what we have here. Looks like someone has alerted the sheriff. And Eloise and Earl, well, they may be in trouble. But the question is, will Marquise be saved or will he have to save himself? Why is he being held hostage in the first place? And why are Eloise and Earl so freaking crazy? But not only that, will Marquise ever reunite with his family or did they really die in the plane crash? Well, in order to answer those questions, guess what? You're going to have to watch the movie. This movie was fun to watch, and it's set in the South, but in reality, this movie was filmed in South Africa. So it's like, okay, a little fun fact. And I liked the pacing of the movie. The movie's about an hour and a half. I feel if it were any longer, okay, now you're stretching the plot a little bit. And the set pieces, everything looked authentic and everything looked real. And the plot very, very easy to follow. It's not like a lot of complicated twists and turns or anything of that nature. So it's not like you have to keep score like what? What happened here? What happened there? No, very, very easy to follow. And Loretta Devine, who played Eloise, she really outdid herself in this movie. I mean, she was totally over the top, but because she's a good actress, it works. So I don't think any other actress could have done this because another actress, I think it would have looked silly, but because she's a good actress, it works. And if you're familiar with her acting, she has a sweet little voice and everything like that. So it was kind of weird to see her in this role where she is straight up sinister. So it was like, oh, look at Loretta. And if you're not familiar with Loretta's acting, please look her up. She has been around for decades. She was one of the original Dream Girls on Broadway. Oh my God. And of course, everybody's favorite, Waiting to Exhale, The PJs. Oh my God, I loved that show. So please check out her credits. I mean, if you're not familiar with her work. And on a side note, I got a chance to meet her long time ago, just out of the blue, and she was very, very nice. So yeah, please check out her acting credits. Omar Hardwick did a great job. The way he portrayed physical pain, it's like, oh my God, I felt it. I felt his desperation. I felt his fear. It was like he did a excellent I mean, every time he winced with pain, I did too. I was like, damn. I mean, acting. I think between the two of them, they made a good acting team for this movie. And he himself has had several acting credits, but you may know him as playing Ghost on the hit show Power. Oh my God, I was hooked on that show. And the ending was epic. Excellent work. So go ahead and check out that show if you haven't already, and check out his other acting credits as well. And I also want to give a shout out to the actor John Beasley, who played Earl, Eloise's husband. Unfortunately, he passed away back in 2023. But I wanted to recognize some of his acting credits. He was on a hit show called Everwood. It's like, yes, that's what I remember him from. And he has guest starred in tons of shows, everything from Roseanne to CSI, NCIS. I mean, Judging Amy, you name it, he's been on the show. His movies, he was in The Purge, Anarchy, Some of All Fears, The General's Daughter. The list goes on and on and on. Well, you guys, I won't hold you any longer. Thank you so much, as always, for listening. I appreciate it very, very much. And until we meet again, stay safe, take care. See you next time. Bye bye. Well, you guys, I won't hold you any longer. Thank you so much.